What's going on there, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes, and hopefully you can notice something new, something a little different. Yeah, finally upgraded that camera. So I'm hoping this picture is significantly better, and talked about when I first started the channel that eventually we were going to get there, right? We were going to get some better camera, maybe some better lighting, and so step one of getting a better camera is finally done. So I hope you enjoy it, and I hope to bring some new people over to the channel and check out what I'm doing here. All right, so today we are diving into a macro review. Also, when I started the channel, if you remember, I said that it's not going to just be about, the latest double dry hopped, impossible, to get long lines, double IPA, New England style release from the latest type brewery. I was going to review beers, older beers, macro beers, beers that are easily accessible on shelves, like all different types of stuff. And so today's a kind of a special one for me. And the reason being is I was actually inspired to do this review, and the review that I'm doing today is of Coors Banquet beer. Yes, in the old 1936 stubby bottle that Coors brought back in 2013. And I was inspired to review Coors Banquet beer because I recently just finished watching season 1 of Cobra Kai on YouTube Red or YouTube Premium. And being a huge fan of the Karate Kid, and if you're a fan of the Karate Kid and you haven't seen Cobra Kai yet, please, please, please do. I'm not joking when I say it might be the single greatest sequel, continuation, follow-up vehicle of all time. I'm literally serious. It's incredible, it's amazing, and in Cobra Kai, what I found was super funny is that Johnny Lawrence, who then becomes Sensei Johnny Lawrence in Cobra Kai, for whatever particular reason, his favorite beer is Coors Banquet beer. And I don't know if Coors actually ended up doing kind of a sponsorship deal with Cobra Kai or with YouTube for product placement or whatever, but just the way that obviously Coors Banquet played into Johnny's life, and every single time he sat down to have a beer or went and bought beer within the series, Coors Banquet. So that got me thinking. I loved the show. I got a kick out of watching him drink Coors Banquet constantly, and I was like, you know what? I'm going to do a review. I'm going to go buy a 6-pack of the stubby bottle, and I'm going to do a review. So that's what I'm doing, man. All right, so let's go ahead and dive into this one. Like I said, I actually picked up the 1936 stubby bottle that Coors brought back in 2013. I think it's super cool. Obviously, it's a twist off top, so let's just go through the drill, man. Let's go ahead and twist off the top on her. Get this thing into a glass, although that's really strange. I feel like this is a bottle beer, but whatever. I'm going to put it into a glass. And we'll obviously take a look at the appearance. We'll get the aroma, then obviously we'll taste it, and then we're going to rate it, man. All right, so an old school classic, Coors Banquet beer. I want to say the recipe probably dates back to the late 1800s, if I'm not mistaken. I don't exactly know when, but coming in at 5% ABV, and it's, it's American adjunct lager, man. That's pretty much what it is, right? I can already hear this thing fizzing away, so obviously a tremendous amount of carbonation. Yep, beer pours, obviously that really kind of light, yellowish kind of gold color, almost kind of stray, like straw, like hay kind of color. The amount of carbonation in this beer is absolutely absurd. Let me get it a little bit closer to the camera, and as you can literally see, just the bubbles just exploding through that beer. It poured a little bit ahead, man. Like, it's quickly dissipating. You kind of got like this little, foam layer that's kind of sitting there that's not even really a quarter of a finger, right? So, looks as it should, right? Let's go ahead and dive our nose into it and get an aroma. Oh, yeah. There's that familiar kind of American adjunct lager kind of smell, right? So, bready sweetness, right? Leaning a little bit more towards kind of like white bread. Man, it smells a tremendous more sweet than I remember. I don't know, I can't even honestly remember the last time I had this beer. I know I've had it in my life, right? Like maybe 20 some odd years ago, but yeah, it smells sweet. It almost kind of got like a little bit of that, borderline kind of apple-ish kind of flavor going on. Yeah, but it's mostly kind of dominated just by like that sweet white bread characteristic or character that's kind of popping through. Yeah, it doesn't smell bad. I mean, honestly, it is what it is, right? It's an American adjunct lager. All right, so let's go ahead and give her a taste. To Sensei Johnny Lawrence, cheers. Okay, so taste kind of follows through, right? It is what kind of you would expect it to be. A little bit kind of, obviously, it is sweet, man. Like, it really, really is sweet. I was a little bit shocked. But obviously in the taste, I mean, you're getting those kind of grains kind of up forward, followed by that kind of, that white bread or that like bready, crackery kind of malt, layering in with a tremendous amount of sweetness. At the end of the day, I mean, I even get like a little bit of kind of like apple kind of going on and stuff like that, which, oftentimes I think, a lot of folks obviously feel that apple flavors are, an off flavor, right? Like a byproduct of, of a brewing error. I don't think that's the case here, right? Like, I really don't. I just think that it's those, those bready malts that are just kind of predominantly up front and forward, that ultimately in the end lend itself to just kind of being a really kind of like sweet kind of beer. Going back in for another taste. Yeah, I mean, obviously it's super kind of carbonated. Yeah. What can I say, man? It's Coors Banquet beer. At the end of the day, for what this beer is, it's never trying to be anything else than kind of what it is. It's not bad. It's not bad. It's a little bit more sweet than kind of what I remember it being. So that kind of has taken me aback a little bit. But it's not bad. I mean, for what it is, right? Like, there is a time and a place for beers like this. If I can give you a good example of one that I would think would be appropriate, I'd drink this beer mowing my lawn. I would. If I was just kind of layering around the house and I just needed something really fast and kind of refreshing and, kind of crisp and easy and, a palpable 5%. Look, again, it is what it is. I'd pick it up. I mean, I'm sure there's probably going to be a lot of people who maybe are checking out this review waiting me to kind of take a dump all over this thing. And, again, there are times and places for, these kind of traditional American, kind of macro kind of lagers, right? You see a lot of craft breweries now getting into brewing these styles of beers. One of the most recent, obviously, being Founders and their Solid Gold. Excuse me, carbonation. And so, there is a market for these beers, right? At the end of the day, and there is a market and there's a time and there's a place, and if you are into and are looking for, an American traditional kind of, macro lager, Coors Banquet's pretty darn good. It ticks off it'll scratch the itch. So yeah, let's go ahead and give her a rating. I mean, this is tough. I mean, for essentially for what it is, right? 2.75, maybe something along those lines. Again, it has its time and has its place. It is what it is. There's a bit of nostalgia going on. I think the 1936 stubby bottle is really kind of cool. And yeah, you know what I mean? Like, if you're just kind of laying around or whatever, and, you need a beer to kind of kick back while you're, mowing the lawn, or, maybe even, I can even see just knocking a couple back of these, like, at the beach or maybe something like that. Yeah, Coors Banquet, not bad, all right? So that'll do it for this episode of the Craftavore Tastes. I think I feel pretty comfortable with 2.75 caps. All right, so that's what it's going to be. I don't love it as much as Sensei Johnny Lawrence does from Cobra Kai, but you know what? Hey, 2.75 caps, I feel comfortable about that. Coors Banquet beer kind of is what it is. Not bad. Pick it up. Why not? All right, so thanks for joining me for this episode. Hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and then I repeat. Cheers.